But yeah, no. So being able to make everything vulnerable is really nice. So that's it for your first two abilities. Now we're gonna go on to our one of the passives. Hued Flesh, obviously. I mean, that's kind of like a must of every fucking Necromancer build, let's be honest. Your defense has up to a 12% chance to create a corpse at the target location. We're going to put 3 points into that. Um, I don't know, it kind of kind of just goes with it. You know, you're always dealing damage, and especially bosses, it's doubled, so you get 24%. It's really nice. But we are going to put 2 points into Sever, just to reduce, you know, everything. So now we're going to go over here to our corpse skills and whatever and so on. We're gonna put 1 point to Blood Mist. Blood Mist is always a must, especially with this build I am trying to talk about. This build relies heavily on Blood Mist. We're only gonna put 1 point into it because we're not worried about the damage or the cooldown. Because what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing a lot of cooldown reduction. You get your Blood Mist like every 5 seconds. With my gear, it's like every 5 to 6 seconds, and with a lot of other gear, you'll probably be able to get it like right off the bat. That's what I'm trying to get to. But of course, not everyone can get perfect rolled crap. Then we're gonna go enhanced. We're just doing it for that cooldown. Honestly, just get a little bit lower. And then we're gonna do Ghastly Blood Mist. We're not gonna do the Fortify one because we don't need Fortify. And I'll explain why later, but we really don't need Fortify for this one. We do need Ghastly Blood Mist because of that corpse. You are in Blood Mist for 3 seconds, right? So that's immediately 3 corpses. Okay, and we'll get to why Blood Mist is so important afterwards. But yeah, and then we're gonna do that for Blood Mist. Then we're gonna go 1 into the spiked armor. We just needed to put a point somewhere. The thorns are nice, so you know you can put like another skill point in here if you want more thorns. But you can get other armor that gives you a little bit of thorns. We really don't want that. But the reason why I put the spiked armor in here is mainly the fact that like we don't have a lot of the just single target, right? Like this single target for this build is not 100% the best, right? So single target's not really the best. So with this armor, if there's like any stragglers or any, little guys who are attacking you, you can kind of just tank them and let them kill themselves, honestly. So then we're gonna go into Corpse Explosion. Now I have 8 points in Corpse Explosion. This is the bread and butter for my whole build, right? So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna pop over to Enhanced. Its radius is increased by 15%. And then we're going to go Blighted Corpse Explosion. Corpse Explosion becomes a darkness skill, and instead of exploding, releases a vial, dealing 6,400 shadow damage over 6 seconds. This is so important, and I'll get to you why. If you could find armor, like if you're leveling, if you're getting this build, like if you're kind of leveling, um, if you're leveling this build, obviously, like try to get Corpse Explosion on any piece of armor that you possibly can. Um, but yeah, so okay, with Corpse Explosion said, we're gonna move on down here to Grim Harvest. Grim Harvest is I just put 1 point into it, that way we can get to, Fueled by Death, but a little bit of Essence Regeneration is pretty nice. We're not really having a whole lot of corpses, and I'll explain why. I know this is a whole corpse build, but I'm just gonna go into show you real quick. Our unique Black River is a corpse explosion consumes up to 4 additional corpses. So it's it gives and it takes, right? So we don't really need a whole lot into Grim Harvest because it's just not the type of build we're in. If you're in Bolden build, of course you want Grim Harvest and whatnot. But then we're gonna get Fueled by Death, and I have 6 points in here because Fueled by Death is really, really nice, right? You do 18 increased damage up to 6 seconds after consuming a corpse. Now, technically, I could do this, and I still have 3 points into it. But it's just 18% increased damage after you consume one corpse. So, and it stacks as well. So it's pretty nice. So over here, we're not really going to do anything. There's a lot of builds where you can put Decrepify. And like I said, like with this build video, I'm not telling you guys what to play, what to use, what to do. My main objective with this is to basically tell you what I'm playing and how I'm having fun with the game. And everyone is entitled to do their build how they want to make their build. And I'm not going to make you, do a certain build like most YouTubers is like, this is the most insane build. Well, this build is not the best build. Of course, there's Bone Spear, there's the Blight, there's a Blood Mist. There's a lot of other shit that you can do with this game. That's why I love Necromancer so much. There's so many builds that are actually viable. But I don't like to use Decrepify or Iron Maiden. I don't like it. I get it's a huge help. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea. And I like to have Reap and I like to have Sever, right? And I had to get rid of one of those to Decrepify, which is Reap. But Reap is my, I don't. There is another version of this build where it's just pure Blood Mist. You could do that as well, and I'll link his YouTube video in the description, because I did get most of his, most of my ideas from mainly him. And real quick, I'll give him a little shout out. I know it's not really nothing, but I gotta give credit where credit's due. Um, I'll post a screenshot on the screen. The video is called "Most Busted Necromancer in the Game Now." It's kind of busted, but it's not like the most busted because of course we got Bone Spear. But it is by Gazzy TV. And I'll put a little link to his video because I did get a lot of my motivation and creation from him. So I don't want to like steal everything from him, even though he's way a little bit bigger than me. But whatever. But okay, moving on. So the only thing we're gonna grab from here is Death Embrace. Close enemies take 60% more damage, and you deal 9% less damage to you. This is really nice because we're always in the middle of everything. We're always in the middle of trying to kill and kill and kill and kill and kill, right? So having that little bit of damage reduction, having that little more damage, comes out really, really nice. So now we're gonna go to the next tree. Of course, 5 out of 5 corpse centrals. I have not found any armor that has more corpse centrals, so whatever. And we all know what corpse centrals do. We bring him in, blah blah, make him vulnerable. Right here, corpse centrals. Enemies who are in range and corpse centrals are slowed by 50% before being pulled. That is really, really nice because I hate whenever I try to corpse tangle and they motherfuckers get away, right? So this is really nice. And then we're gonna go over here to Plague corpse centrals. Enemies damaged by corpse tangle are made vulnerable for 3 seconds. There's another vulnerable outlook right there. I don't know why I have Bone Spirit. I have to get rid of my armor, my chest piece. So I've been on the ground, but don't want to get a chest piece. So then we're gonna go over here to Necrotic Carapace. Fucking butchered that. When a corpse is formed from your skills or your minions, 45%. We're always generating corpses, right? So like every time that we do Sever, every time we do Reap, we're getting corpses. Like we're getting a little bit of Fortify, which it helps a little bit for tankiness. And we're gonna go over here. We're gonna do 3 out of 3 of Reaper's Pursuit. Damage enemies with darkness skills. Increase your movement speed by 15% for 30 seconds, or for 3 seconds. This is really nice because you're always dodging them. You're always taking them, so you're gonna be a little bit faster, be able to get a little bit out and whatnot. Then we're gonna go to Crippling Darkness, 3 out of 3 on this. Lucky Hit. Darkness skills have up to 50% chance to stun enemy for 3.3 seconds. So while they're being ticked, every single dot, every single tick of damage has a 15% to stun them. That is really, really nice for elites. Really nice, because after your corpse single is up and it's on a cooldown, or they get out of it, or whatever happens, they have a 15% chance to get stunned on everything that we're doing. Terror, 3 out of 3. Darkness skills deal 9% bonus damage to enemies who are slowed, and 9% bonus damage to enemies who are stunned or immobilized. These bonuses stack and apply to your shadow damage dealt by your minions. The minions we don't really care about, because of course we're not using minions because they're not really that viable, let's be honest. But deals 9% bonus to enemies who are slowed. We're slowing all of them with our corpse tendrils, and 9% bonus damage to enemies who are stunned Core Centrals, other things are stunning us. And then I'm just going to put a point into Gloom when you damage enemies of darkness skills. I take 2% increased shaman damage from you and your minions for 2 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. I would say if you could get, if again, this is just how I like to play it. I've thought about taking a couple points out of Fueled by Death and putting it into here. But it's not that big of a percentage. So it's up to you. You know, you can make it how you want. Now we're gonna go down to our ultimate. Of course, we're gonna use Bone Storm. All right, of course we're gonna fucking use Bone Storm. Enhance it, Supreme. You know the shebang. That's every fucking build. Then we're gonna go to standalone because we're sacrificing literally everything. So increased damage reduction by 18%, reduced by 2% for each active minion. And we're just getting the damage reduction. I'm just being honest, we don't have minions. Memento Mori, sacrificing both skeletal warriors and skeletal mages increases their bonuses by 60%. 60% is huge, guys. Huge. And I'll get over that in just a little bit. But after that, we're gonna go down and we're gonna get the key passive, Shadow Blight. Obviously, it's the only shadow one here. And we're gonna roll with that. So now we're going to move on to the Paragon board. Just real quickly, I don't have a lot of the Paragon board active. Of course, I'm only level 74, and I don't have all the bonus air Paragon points unlocked yet because I'm lazy. Okay, I'm lazy. But you're gonna want to go up here this way, go up and around town. I'm gonna sit here for a second. So if you want to pause it, you can go ahead and pause it. All right, cool. So the first glyph that I like to use is Territorial. You gain 10% damage reduction from close enemies. Again, we're doing a lot of in close enemies, and then we get to basically a 25% damage more to close enemies. We're always close, right? So you want to get your dexterity up. You want to get everything up. I'm trying to get this glyph, a little bit upgraded. But anyway, so then we're going to come up here, and we're going to attach the board that gives you this node, Wither. Your shadow damage over time effects have a 5% chance to do 50% donuts each time they do damage. This chance is increased 1%, and bonuses damage is increased by 2.5% while you have 50 willpower for each 50 willpower you have. So willpower is huge in this build. I do have to go through my tree again. Anywho, sorry. Basically, Wither, shadow damage over time. Yeah, I already fucking read that. This is really nice because we're doing 50% bonus damage each time we do damage. And you have 5% chance. And all of our shadow damage is basically over time. And this is why you can kind of go between Blight and Sever. I kind of switch between both depending. If I'm fighting a boss, I usually switch over to Blight. But if I'm fighting just a horde of enemies, then I stay on Sever. You're going to want to get this rare node, Potion Healing, Maximum Life. It's just nice to have, making your tank a little buff here. You're going to go over here. You want the I can't fucking pronounce that. The Darkness, rare node. 20% extra damage to affected by shadow damage over time enemies and the damage to elites. That damage to elites, man, that comes in clutch. But yeah, no, we do get the 20% extra damage over time. And then you can also get these. I would damn sure get all the blue nodes on this tree that you can. Then we're going to go over here, shadow damage over time, plus 10 shadow damage. I'm going to get into these a little bit more, actually. I don't know why I never got them. I know a lot of people by this level have all the Terra 20 Paragon points. You don't have to rush to the different tables, right? So with this one, this is the most important and standardized tree I've ever seen on a fucking Necromancer, right? It's just amazing. Having all these blue nodes, more damage over time, shadow damage over time, more shadow damage. It's incredible. 20% shadow damage over time, 10% shadow damage. Our whole thing is shadow damage over time, right? So it's amazing to be able to have all that. At this glyph, we're going to do Scourge. I butchered that as well. And we get an extra 23% shadow damage over time. Your minions do a 10% increased damage of shadow. We don't care about that, right? Then we're going to go and we're going to get this node up here, and then We get an extra 20% shadow damage, intelligence, and then we're going to get all these. More shadow damage, more shadow damage, more shadow damage. Then we're going to come up here and they're going to get the one that gives you the legendary node Flesh Eater. Consuming your corpse grants 40% increased damage for 6 seconds. Literally every time with Black River, right, that we consume a corpse, we're consuming 5 corpses. So you consume 1 corpse and this is already procced, right? So I haven't gotten into this tree, obviously, that much yet, but I will be going to that Flesh Node Eater. And then in my in the description, I do have the link to the full Paragon tree. So if you are a lot higher level than me, which you probably are, you can get that. But that's my Paragon tree. We're gonna go into the Book of the Dead real quick. We're gonna do Reaper Sacrifice to do a 20% increased shadow damage over time, but no longer raise Skeletal Warriors. Now, if you remember from our skill tree, if you go down here, Memento Mori, we get 60% more. We're dealing 80% increased shadow damage. It's kind of fucking busted. For our Skeleton Mage, we're going to go cold to do 20% increased damage to vulnerable enemies, but you can no longer raise. We are always making things vulnerable. We're always making things easier to kill and whatnot. Golems, I'm going to go with the Blood Golem, just giving us that extra life. You know, we're basically getting 43% life. No. 73% more life. We're getting 73% more life because of our other thing. As you can see, my life is at $5,400 or 5,400 life. 5,400 life. Now we're gonna move on to the gear. I'm gonna go over my chest real quick. Alright, so we're going to go over the helmet first. Again, my build is not perfect, so please do not judge me too much. On your helmet, you are going to want the aspect of Explosive Mist. Blood Mist triggers corpse explosion on surrounding corpses. When Blood Mist detonates a corpse, its cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds. This is a low roll. You can get a little bit higher, whatever. The reason why this is so important is because Blood Mist is really important, right? So we go in there, we reap once, we get that corpse, we corpse central, we pop a Blood Mist, and then we go in there with Blood Mist, and then we're exploding everything, right? We're exploding everything, and we're not even taking any damage. You're gonna want maximum life, total armor, cooldown reduction, and intelligence. Of course, this isn't a perfect helmet. We got the cooldown reduction, we got the all stats, but I haven't been able to get what I actually needed. So don't, again, my full build list will be in the description so you can actually see what I'm trying to go for. Chest piece, I'm not even going to worry about my chest piece because, again, it is bad, right? So I don't need this because I don't use blood orbs. I'm fixing to change over. I don't even have a chest piece, so that's just fun. So, but on the chest piece, you're going to want the aspect of Disobedience, and you gain 0.25 to 50% increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of stacking up, form of damage stacking up to 25 to 50%. We are always dealing damage, right? So it's always going to be stacking, so we're always going to be getting armor, and it's kind of making you a little bit tanky. On your chest piece, though, you're going to want maximum life, damage reduction from distant enemies, damage reduction, and damage reduction from close enemies. You're really just trying to get everything, right? So if you're close, you're far, you're whatever, you're getting maximum life, you're getting damage reduction from everything. We're going to, so there is 3 uniques that we're going to want for this build. This is going to be number 1. Instead of detonating immediately, Corpse Explosion summons a skeleton that charges at random enemies and explodes. This is nice. Okay, let's say you have a whole horde of enemies and and all the corpses are, like, let's say all the enemies are to the right and all the corpses are to the left, right? Your enemies aren't going to move all the way to the left. So this is allowing them to travel over. It's really nice, and it's also increasing their damage by 34%. And it also is giving us another lucky hit chance to stun by 17% chance to stun, another 18% chance to fear, corpse skill attack speed, and lucky hit chance. It's really nice. It's just overall really great gloves for it, and it's really easy to get these gloves. I mean, I literally have another set of gloves in here. Um, but yeah, yeah. See, another unique, like if you don't have these uniques, but you do have the Fist of Fate, fucking fun, right? Because like your attacks deal 1% to 200% of their normal damage. It's kind of busted a little bit if you want to be be a little on the other side of it. But Fits of Fates are another good option. I've played a Fits of Fates. It's not as good because of that unique, you know, aspect of being able to just have the corpses go where you want them, and then the lucky chance to stun. It's really nice. So for the pants, again, I don't have the pants that I want. This is more the pants that I'm going to be using, but I do need another aspect that I only have on these pants. It's going to be aspect of Shielding Storm. Each time the Bone Storm damages an enemy, you gain a barrier up to 5% of your base life for 10 seconds. When you're having a huge pack of elites or you're having a huge pack of monsters that are really hard to kill, you really want to have your Bone Storm activated. And this Bone Storm is going to be dealing more damage, and it's also going to be giving you a barrier. It's really nice. The only reason why I haven't switched to these pants is because I don't have another aspect of that. I gotta get it. But on the pants, you're going to want damage reduction from affected by shadow damage over time enemies, damage reduction from close enemies, and ranks of corpse explosion. So again, on these pants, I have corpse explosion, I have maximum life, I have damage reduction for distant enemies, and damage for 4 seconds after lead. So these are decently good pants, but I really want an upgrade. Um, this is just giving me way more damage, but I didn't have any corpse centrals, so I'm gonna have to reroll it a lot. So for the boots, this is the second unique item that we're gonna want. Create desecrated ground beneath your sever. Sentries as they travel, dealing damage to enemies for 1600 shot damage over 2 seconds. So it's not the most busted, passive from a unique, but it's really nice because you're able to sever out and it's still doing damage. But another reason why we want it is because of the essence cost reduction. Lucky hit chance of shadow damage, and then damage reduction for enemies that are affected by shadow damage over time. It's just really great for your shadow build. You're getting damage reduction, you're getting lucky hit, and you're getting cost reduction. It's really nice. If you can get this with willpower, that'd be better than intelligence, but it is what it is. Now we're gonna go for the third unique, the Black River. Now, if somehow the gods want to bless me with a Doombringer, Doombringer would be fucking nasty, right? But we all know that's never going to happen. But Black River is the next best choice. So consuming a corpse has an additional 4 corpses around the initial corpse, dealing 122% increased damage with a 21% larger radius. Getting a lot more damage. Getting a lot more damage. And then we have damage to distant enemies, damage to healthy enemies, and then rank fueled by death passive. That's pretty nice. And we get the life on kill. So that's the armor. Now we're going to go on to the amulet. Amulet, whatever. You're going to want the blighted aspect on it. It's going to deal 50 to 120% increased damage for 6 seconds after the Shadow Blight key passive damages enemies. That's if you're running the Shadow Blight. Again, you can do either or, but that's just what I like to use because, again, I swatch back and forth. I don't have a good amulet right now, but you do want it for damage reduction to close enemies, cooldown reduction, range of terror passive, and movement speed. So, again, my build's not perfect, but the first ring you're going to want the blood-soaked aspect. That's going to deal blood. Mist leaves a trail that lasts for 4 seconds. It deals X shadow damage per second to enemies who stand in it. Your maximum movement speed is no longer reduced while Blood Mist is active. So, Blood Mist usually slows you down, but with this, now you don't, right? So you can leave, you can dip, you can whatever you need to do, and it deals. For me, it is dealing an extra 520 damage. You're gonna want, shadow damage, lucky hit, chance vulnerable damage, and maximum life. But you get what you can get, right? The second ring, you're gonna want the aspect of ultimate shadow. which I haven't found one yet, but the Bloodstorm and Blood Wave are also darkness skills. Deal shadow damage and gain additional effects. Enemies damaged by Bone Storm take X shadow damage over 2 seconds. Blood Wave doesn't matter. I've used this because the key passive also increases critical strike damage of bone skills. I don't have a good secondary ring. I've been trying to fucking look for one, and I can't find one. But on this ring, you're gonna want damage to affected by shadow enemies over time, vulnerable damage, lucky hit chance, shadow damage. For your offhand, you're gonna want to get something that has the aspect of decay. Each time the Shadow Blight key passive deals damage to enemies, it increases the next Shadow Blight's damage within 10 seconds. This is if you use Shadow Blight, again, Shadow Blight, right? This build is mainly focused around Shadow Blight because of the DPS for bosses and such not, but I like to use Sever sometimes. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go over jewelry. For your weapons, you're going to want amethyst. For your armor, you're going to want rubies, and for your jewelry, you're going to want skulls. Alright, so let's go show you how this build works. Alright, so what we're going to do once we come up to an enemy, once we find one, I'm not going to use the shrine. What we're going to do, oh, there we go. Alright, so we're going to reap in here, Corpse Tendril, Blood Mist, and most of the time, that's about it. We're going to go do that again. Not worried about them, I'm trying to get the huge pack of enemies. I'm gonna let the shine run out real quick. Alright, so again, you're gonna go in there, reap, you're gonna get your Corpse Tendril out. And once it comes out, you can then, just reap it up, sever. And then now that we have it back up, here's an elite. And we're gonna go back into Blood Mist. And we're gonna do a few more Corpse Potions. It's all about damage over time, and it's all about your ticks are increasing every single time it gets hit. So that's really all it is to it. You just go in here, you reap, you tendril, and then you Blood Mist. And then you can pop a few more close potions if you need to. Now let's say not everything dies, or let's say your Blood Mist is on cooldown. Let's say, you're in a Nightmare Dungeon. What you're gonna want to do is you want to Corpse Tendril everything in, Corpse Potion a few times, and then just sever. And then now that you have all your corpses, just go about your day. So, like I said, there's multiple ways to play this, right? And each time you kill an enemy, you get essence back. I love the variety of this build. I love the ability to kind of do whatever I need to do. When there's a big pack, use your Bone Storm. Get everything sucked in. Corpse Central. You know, and sometimes it is kind of, you know, rocky. But it's very fun. It's not Bone Spear. It's not going to do your, you know, insane amount of fucking damage. It's not going to be able to do everything that you want to do, you know, as Bone Storm. It's not Bone Storm, so you can't treat it as its Bone Storm. Ooh, almost died there. But this build is very fun. It allows you to do and be very interactive with your whole entire build, and it's just nice. It's a nice change of things. I was Bone Spear for a while. I don't know. I never really liked it. It was nice dealing the burst damage. It was really nice, but at the end of the day, it wasn't fun. You know, and once you ran out of essence, you were done. There was no way you were coming back. So I don't know. This is my build. And thank you all for all watching again. If you want to see Sock's, you know, build, he does have a barbarian and he does have a rogue. He does play rogue the most right now, but if you guys want to see his build, I'll force him to make a little solo video. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. I really do appreciate all the support. I know we're not a huge YouTuber yet. I know we're not, you know, anything to write home about, but it is nice, and I really do appreciate everyone who's here. It does mean a lot to me and Sock. We'll be uploading a lot more. We'll be doing a lot of short content as well, because just right now the living situation and how everything's going, you know, it's not ideal, but we'll get past it. But thank you all so much for watching, and if you guys want to see more content, please leave a like, and if you're new and you like what you saw today, please go check out our other content, and yeah, you guys have an amazing day. Bye.